Welcome to Storytelling with Lindsay Bednar. Hi, Kerry.
Hi, Lindsay.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Oh, I see we're both wearing green.
Of
Very
course
aligned.
you are. You've got your gnome green on.
I do. All my gnome spirit energy. I cannot wait for you to talk about this. So,
Yay.
first of all, I have your book right here. Uh, Joining me is one of my authors, Kerry Lewis, author of Eating for Your Aura. I had so much fun working on this project.
As
Um,
did
and
I.
and I bet you just surprise yourself with how much you taught yourself in the process. Because for those of you listening, she ended up between the photography that the books that her photographer, let me back that, let me say that again. The photos that your photographer took, you laid it out and taught yourself how to basically um, format the pages, and it was amazing. And it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I definitely learned a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, with design and helping the photographer put the food together for the photographs and yeah,
Yeah.
lots of
Well,
things.
you did amazing. So, first, I want you to just talk about how you got into reading people's energy. What turned that on for you? Was it from when you were a little kid? Were there life circumstances? Um, and kind of lay out the journey and how you've started doing it now as part of your career.
Well, I didn't know that I was that that I have this ability of I'm turning the word now into having this psychic ability. It's been hard for me to say that, but I do remember I thought of myself as magic when I was 5 years old. I remember feeling like a wizard where I could just snap my fingers and magic would happen or something would happen if I would snap my fingers. And then I remember being frustrated if that something little magical thing didn't happen because I just felt like, well, I'm used to having it happen. Why isn't it happening right now? And but I think I spent most of my life up until maybe about 8 years ago, not knowing that I had really strong intuition and psychic abilities until I started getting sick and I had really bad asthma and I went into a Reiki healer and she said, I can help heal your heart. You've got a lot of emotions stuck in there. Let's start with the Reiki. And so I went to my third session and I walked in and she said, so I'm not healing you today. You're actually going to be healing me. And I'm like, what? I'm paying for this. What's going on here? And she said, we're just going to practice right here. Here, you sit on the Reiki table, and I'm going to sit over here at the side, and I'm going to ask you some questions, and I just want you to see what comes through. And so she was asking me questions about her daughter going to going to prom. And I said, well, I think this is going to happen. She's going to wear a green dress. She's going to get asked late to go. She's not going to have very much fun, but that kind of thing. Well, I went back for my next session and she said, well, that all came true. And so she said, you need to start developing your abilities. And so I went through a big process of clearing blocks that I had. And when I was a teacher, well, and I had been a teacher this whole time, but then I started seeing energies with the kids. So started seeing their aura colors, and I wouldn't really tell anybody or tell them. But then I started seeing fairy wings on them, and I started seeing mermaid tails on them, and little elf hats and little angel wings. And I knew that that was kind of odd and out of the box. And then when I had another reading with someone else who you happen to know because she was on your podcast as well, Natalie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She says, yeah, so you're really out there and you've got this really, galactic uh, connection where you're a lot of times you're just up in these galactic realms. And she says, I can see you seeing all these different realms. And
Wow.
so she kind of helped me identify what it was that I was seeing. And in time, I've been practicing doing readings. So I'm um, I was practicing on friends and family, and then started doing professional readings, aura readings, and healings, and so that's what I'm doing these days.
Wow. Okay. So there's so much in there I want to come back to. I think one of the things that one of the reasons I love having these conversations is not just for us adults who love connecting with psychics and energy readers, but also because this next generation is so bright, and I think some of them have, are tapped into this ability so much stronger. And
So
so,
great.
for both for as parents and for my own curiosity, what did that look like as a kid when you said, you felt like you were magic or your intuition just kind of turned on? Like, can you remember instances where you were like, wow, I called that, I saw that coming? Um,
Well, what I've kind of discovered about myself is that I'm not really like I'm not the kind of psychic that predicts things. Um, she had me do that, which I think is a com- is kind of a gift that some people have to predict. But what I've learned about myself is I see the essence of people, but it has to be allowed as well. Like I don't walk down the street and see people with a elf hat on, or like a something like that. Or but
so even
once
though you were
we
able to tap into that Reiki healer's daughter, what was going to happen with prom, that's not typically what you do. That
correct.
eh,
So what I've found is that when people ask me in an aura reading, and it would be fun if you want me to read your aura today. What I find myself doing is saying, okay, we're going to connect, and then I'm going to ask for your highest vibration of color to come through, your highest essence color. And then in that color, then it starts out really broad and then it gets more specific. In that color, then I'll start seeing ethereal energies. So, for example, I might see fairy energy or angel energy or gnome energy. So I called you a gnome at the beginning of the session because I did do a reading with you. Or I'll see elf energy, dragon, wizard. I don't know. There's 8 broad categories that I put in my book. So those broad categories, one of them might come through stronger than the next, and then I'll start getting more specific messages. I tend to see stories hidden within those energies, and then in those stories, I'll see more colors and I'll get more messages, and then we get more specific, and then I might see special foods that might come up that are good for your energies, or crystals that are good for your energy that you might want to work with, or forms of exercise. I'll get that a lot. I'll also get animals that will come through, and sometimes I'll see a lot of people have dog energy, or I'll see cats and cows, and I just saw a cow in someone's energy the other day, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I used to have a cow. I feel like I talk to her all the time." And so I'll see like the spirit of animals that maybe you've had in the past will come through and they might want to say a message.
Okay.
So that will
Oh,
come through as well. So that's more, it's more like I'm connecting to what is instead of what will be, but then I'll also give choices of, okay, so do you have a question about career or relationship or something like that? And I'll say, what is your question? Do you, and someone will say, well, should I retire? And I'll say, okay, let's look at both options and we'll look for which one has the higher vibration on that path. So we'll look at two different paths and I'll say, this path is giving a higher vibration. This path is showing me that there's a little block in the path that could be cleared. You could work with it, but so I tend to look at different paths.
whoa. Okay. So, and when you started seeing these like ethereal spirits, like with the fairy wings or the elf hats or anything, were you like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I thought it was really cute because I was working with little kids and I um so I might see a little girl walking down the hallway with these cute little fairy wings, and it was just maybe it's kind of like bringing out my little playful child spirit as well, kind of a dreamy, well, being a Pisces, I of course have lots of dreams that go in and out of, is that a daytime dream or is that a nighttime dream? But
Sure.
um, it all kind of blends together. But um, I feel like I can, like I say, I can see the highest essence in people, but for me, it comes through as like their magical self, their ethereal self, and then someone might ask, does everybody have that kind of an ethereal
That's what I was
essence?
gonna ask. Right.
Okay, I do get that a lot.
Yep.
And, I don't always see it in everybody because my belief system is that I do believe in that we choose kind of what kind of lifetime that we wanna have when we incarnate on Earth, and some people, I believe, choose to have, "I just want to be a human. I just want to learn my lessons as a human," and so then I might not get, "Oh, you have really strong angel wings. You're here as an angel. You're here to help everybody and
Mhm.
do everything for everybody else, and you're gonna learn your life lessons by overextending yourself, and maybe you'll learn to kind of take care of yourself, but maybe, maybe you'll still be taking care of everyone else." So I don't always see ethereal things with people,
Sure.
or it might not come through, in their first session anyway,
What
but
about
some things
what
come
about
through
when you
really strong.
yeah, what about when you interact with like a darker energy, just a low vibrational person? Is it just kind of like blank or do you see anything or is
Uh,
there an emotion that you're struck with?
well, um, what I am finding is that if someone's aura comes up as all of a sudden I'll see this really bright orange color, I'm trying to learn the language for myself of, does that mean that their essence is bright orange, or do they need bright orange because they're going through depression? And so sometimes I just um, look into it further and I'll say, "Oh, I'm seeing orange. I'm seeing that you need to drink a lot of orange juice. You need to, wear orange. You need to work with orange crystals." And then I'll say, "I'm seeing a little cord in you," and then I'll try to figure out where that cord is attached. Is it attached into their heart? Because I can see the chakras. Um, so I'll look, is it attached into their spiritual chakra, their third eye? Where is that? And I will see it as a black cord. Is it connected into their um, creative center, their sa- yeah, sacral chakra? And so then I'll ask, okay, what is it that needs to be healed in the sacral chakra that has a cord of depression in it? Is it something that is there a block with creativity or sexual energy or
Mm.
something? But I don't generally see someone with a big black aura. I mean, people are afraid of that, and that
Yeah.
was actually what I was afraid of the first time that I went to a reading. My son and I went to a group of channelers for our first time because one of his friends' mothers was a channeler, and there were 7 women who were channeling in a group of about 20 of us, and they could all feel my heart just pounding out of my chest. And they're like, "Hang on a second, before we get started, um, we have to address Carrie. Hey, you over there. Get, get your heart to stop beating
Stress
so
levels were
hard."
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I do get that fear is when people walk into the shop where I'm working doing aura readings. I'll say I'm doing aura readings today, and some of the people are like, "Heck yeah, I want to do that. Sure." And I'll have my daughter do it with me, and others are like, "No, don't you look into my energy." And I'll say, "Well, I'm I'm not going to look into your energy. I do get that, but I don't connect until, both until our spirits connect."
Hmm.
But yeah, it is a fear that someone can see that you have a black cloud of depression around you, um,
Yeah.
or
And I,
something that's hurting you, or a pain. Maybe your heart hurts for some physical reason or some emotional reason. Yeah,
mhm.
you don't want that displayed all over the place. I get that.
Yeah, so that makes sense. So you need their permission before you can really tap into it.
Yes.
It's not like you're walking around in
No.
seas of people seeing like dark energies amidst, a
Yeah.
lot of
And some
different.
people can see that.
Okay.
I just don't
Yeah,
feel
well,
like I chose to do that in this lifetime. I feel like I have been able to do that in many past lives, and I have seen that wizard hat on myself, and I have had to heal myself from probably having multiple lifetimes of low vibe wizard, really psychic
hmm.
energy. But I feel like this time that I chose to come here on a high vibe path, and I
Nice.
tend
Mm.
to see high vibe colors. I see a lot of pastel colors and a lot of what could be colors for people to help others connect with their high vibe spirit and their essence. And so that's why I think I do know that I need to protect myself from
Right.
using, um, what are the black crystals called? I can't.
Onyx.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
fact, I have an onyx here right now. Oh, a black tourmaline,
Okay.
um, but it's been a process of taking things, or clearing energies away from myself so that I can see these more the high vibe things in others.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that Natalie and I talked about was how you do have to develop boundaries and an amount of protection because if you had things coming at you all the time, that gets to be a lot and overwhelming. And
Oh yeah,
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 you need to be human too and just be able to operate in the world. Yeah.
yeah. And I do feel like I was like my guides had said through the years of me being a teacher. Well, you could start doing this now, and if or you can wait, and I know that I was attracting a lot of hints along the way, like, okay, we're ready for you to to start
Hmm.
this now, and hints can come along in the way of not breathing, going into the having all the asthma problems that I was having. I just wasn't addressing what was really going on, that I really needed to stop what I was doing and really go through a deep, deep cleansing, a deep healing to start
Yeah.
doing what I came here for.
Uh, that's what I hear a lot of times is that people will start to have like physically ill symptoms if they're blocking out their innate gifts. So that's
Hmm.
what's happening with you.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think so. Yes.
Well, one of the you mentioned this before, and I know we talked about it, but I do think one of the best ways to show what you do is to read me,
Yeah.
so that people can kind of see what
Yeah.
that looks like, and I'm all for it.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So this would be like you coming into the shop. Hey, Lindsay, do you want to do an aura reading? And
Okay.
so probably what I'll do is, so usually what I say, okay, I'm going to set my timer, and um, how about we'll do, because once I get going, I have no concept of time. So I don't know if we're on minute 2 or minute 49, but
Sure.
what do you think?
Uh, let's see. We're only 23 minutes in, so we, we can spend some time. That
Okay.
works.
All right. Okay. So Lindsay, I'm going to connect with my spirit and my guides and my angels. And I'm going to connect to your spirit and your guides and your angels. And I'm going to connect to the highest spirit. And I'm going to ask for colors of clarity to come through for your highest and your best. So your gnome spirit is coming back because you have a very strong gnome spirit. And in that gnome spirit, I'm seeing, and so some of these things might be the same as what I've said, and some of them are going to be different, but I'm seeing a very grounded spirit. And in that grounded spirit, I see that you're very connected to the earth. And I'm seeing the trees, and it's kind of like you have elf cousins because the elf cousins are kind of around, and I'm seeing that those are part of your nature is what I'm getting. Kind of, they're kind of like parts of your spirit that you like to have around. You like to have the elfy, spirited people with you, but you probably have some elf energy in you as well.
Mhm.
Okay. And then in that gnome spirit, I'm getting that you're connected to the root vegetables, that you need to eat those to keep yourself grounded. And in those root vegetables, um, your spirit loves when you eat the beets and the sweet potatoes and the
Mhm.
carrots, all things that can go into the oven that are warm. Do you connect with that?
Yes, 1,000,000%.
Okay. Which one is, do you have a favorite root vegetable?
I've been eating a lot of beets lately.
Oh,
Traditionally sweet potatoes, but beets has been up there a lot. Yeah.
that's great. Okay. How about turnips? Because I'm also seeing turnips.
Okay, I don't do turnips often.
Okay. All
Yeah, but
right. Okay. And then any of those colors of, do you ever go to Trader Joe's? Do you see those um,
carrot.
colored root vegetables? They have lots of colors of carrots and
Yes, I love the colored carrots. The purple ones are my favorite.
okay. Yeah, those are showing up. So sometimes I'll get like an ingredient list from Trader Joe's that will show up in people's auras. You
Nice.
just got the I'm going to Trader Joe's shopping list.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. So also in your grounded grounded eating. Okay, so what's coming through are more foods that help to keep you grounded. And I'm seeing the oatmeal cake again.
Mm.
Do you want to?
Yeah, so when you tapped into not just oatmeal, which I love, but specifically oatmeal cake, when you read me the first time, I was like, no way. I literally asked my mom to make that for every birthday. So each year, I love oatmeal cake.
I love that. Well, that ended up in my cookbook. There's a recipe for oatmeal cake that when you take the quiz in the cookbook, gnome is a category, and then there's if you come up with gnome energy, you can find yourself being directed to the gnome foods, and that includes oatmeal cake. So that's coming up as a strong connection. So if there's other forms of oatmeal that you also do you like to have oatmeal pancakes?
Yeah,
Do
actually.
you?
Yeah,
Okay.
we mix it up in the blender with like cottage cheese and eggs and
Okay.
have higher protein and um,
Okay.
yep, I also make like protein balls with protein powder and peanut butter and oatmeal and
I'm
honey.
seeing that oatmeal is really, really good for you, and it's coming up as a complex carbohydrate and I don't know if that's a fact or not, but
Yes.
those are the words I'm saying.
Yes.
Complex carbohydrate for
It,
your energies.
yeah, that means it takes rather than like a simple carb like a fruit, it satiates you for longer, takes longer to
Okay.
digest.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Bananas are also coming up for you.
Mm, love bananas.
Okay.
Actually, the doctor had to tell me to stop eating them when I was pregnant with Whitney because I was constipated.
Okay.
So
All right. Are you good now?
love- I'm good now. Love me some banana.
All right. So those bananas,
Mhm.
are blueberries are good for you. Um, okay. So the blue food. Is there any other blue food that you're able to find to eat? The blue.
Spirulina.
Okay. Do you have that?
Yeah, so I get that in like a nut butter. It's a spirulina cashew butter. Love
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Drinking a lot of water
it. Hmm.
is beneficial for you, and also the blue water. So putting blueberries in your water or the spirulina.
Mm, okay.
Is that a way to take it? The
Well, the
spirulina.
blueberries I could,
Okay.
but yeah, not the nut butter, but
Okay. Okay. Yeah, lots of blueberries are good for you. In fact, right now I'm seeing blueberries are popping up in your aura, kind of like they're all behind you, saying, "Yeah, we're good for you." So it's the wild blueberries are the number one choice, and then the farm raised is that I don't know how you say the regular wood blueberries are good as well.
okay.
Okay. Um, all right. So the word career just came up for you, and I'm going to see what color it is because that will maybe help answer some questions, and then I'll also look and see where in your where in your aura did that word show up? Because sometimes if it's in the heart or if it's in the brain or if it's in the throat, it makes a difference of um, kind of seeing it in your throat, the word career, and it's coming up as a bright blue color. Is there a question that you want to know about life path with
Yes.
career?
Yes. Well, my career's taken a winding turn. Started with teaching, and that was a beautiful journey, but I knew I I needed to move on from that to do something else for my creative self, and then went into publishing, which has been wonderful, and podcasting, and um, it all feels a little bit like I don't know, like this is here, and there's a shift. Um, I love everything about storytelling, and I think that's why I got into publishing. But at the, when I started publishing, it was more about books, and then as I deepened into my purpose, it was like, no, this is actually about stories. And that's when I started the podcast, and so connecting with people, and just hearing their stories. If I could just sit in that space all day, that would be my dream. And so the podcast allows me to do that. But even just socially, or even just going to the grocery store, I might have somebody just people just tell me their life stories a lot, which I love. And so I think it's just recognizing that that's where I love to be, and how can I honor that part of me as much as possible every day to feel fulfilled.
Okay. So what is your question in that?
Um,
What are you wondering?
will will podcasting become more prominent than publishing for me?
Okay. They're both coming up in two different colors, so I'm going to look into what that means. I see, okay, so the publishing, I'm seeing the blue and the green. So, okay, what I'm getting is that the publishing helps to uh, bring the stories of people through to you, and then it morphs into the podcast, and I'm getting that because of people's spirits. They feel more comfortable coming forward through a book.
Hmm.
And then the podcasting is the segue to get their stories. It is to get people's spirits to talk about their stories.
Hmm.
Um, so like if you look at a plant, I'm seeing the publishing is more of the rooted the rooted part with the green plant, and that includes even children's stories. I'm seeing children's stories. I'm seeing women's stories. Um, I'm seeing uh, just just even short stories of and they're coming from people that didn't know that they had something to say, like if you would say, "Oh, I'm looking for people to tell their story on a podcast." Some people's spirits are like, "Oh, I'm not ready to do that." But
Hmm.
through the book, they're ready to do that. So um so I'm seeing for the time being that um the publishing is working well for you, and then when the podcast does grow larger, I'm also seeing they're showing me people have a stronger voice, and I'm even seeing music and singing in your podcast.
Oh.
And it's a bigger production.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the podcast is I'm seeing lots more um lights, like lights and action, like it becomes a bigger thing, but it also becomes like you need to get more people involved, and so because of that it's more work.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if that's if that's not your dream to have it feel like more work, I'm getting the like, let's pose the question, what could help it not be more work?
That's a question for me.
Well, if you're interested in posing that question,
Okay.
because for some reason I just got more of like a heavier feeling, like the podcast becomes bigger. I got I just got a heavier feeling, like, okay, this just feels like a lot of work for some reason.
Hmm.
Did you get that?
No, but that is like the same thing that was tapped into by another intuitive is that it's been the publishing first and then the podcasting has been kind of a secondary. And she said that's going to flip and just kind of hang on and be ready because that once that start, that is going to be it's going to be busy. She
Okay.
she didn't say the word work, or heavy, but she did say busy.
I think there needs to be some clearing around that for when that time is ready because I think what I was getting the heavier feeling with, it's around the word media because there's more people involved and there's the heaviness of the media. That word just needs to be
Mm,
cleared.
yeah.
Um, and when you are recording or when you're on your podcast or whoever you're interviewing, um, something about either you need to clear yourself before or after, or clear the space, or something about that could be heavy.
Mm. Well, the word media is a kind of a heavily weighted word for me right now because the media and my relationship with like the mainstream media in the past 4 years has been like not great because I just see all of
Hmm.
the suppression of voices and information, and so that maybe is where it's coming
Hmm.
from.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So just having that awareness doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. It's just having the awareness and then being able to work around that.
Okay.
And then that word awareness, I was just shown a pink flower. So we're going to take that as a good sign that you can work with it. And as we're talking about it, and that is what happens when we'll talk about something, and then it's kind of like we're cutting that cord as we're talking about it, and the word awareness and you becoming aware. I'm starting to see this pink gerbera daisy.
Mm, sure.
So I think that's kind of a blessing that we brought that up and full speed ahead.
Yeah. Cool.
Mm.
Awesome.
So, yeah. Let's see. Uh, is there anything that you want to know about your kids? I started doing kid readings and pet readings as well. And people don't have to bring their pets into the shop, but I can just
Mm,
connect with a pet that you currently have or one that's crossed over. I'll connect with their spirit and we can get messages. Um,
awesome.
yeah.
Um, I would normally ask about my kids, but being that this is public and like they're getting older, I will I will do that privately sometime. But I do want to just tap into Fozzie, um, if you could.
Okay. And you have to clarify with
Yeah,
us who
or
Ozzy.
Newfoundland.
Pardon?
He's our Newfoundland.
Okay. Okay. Is there something that you, how old is he?
He is 6.
Okay. And do you want to know something about him?
He has a paw. Well, the holistic vet basically said it's like a lame paw, for lack of better terms. He was born that way, and so he tweaks it every so often. So, surgery is not really viable, and he just didn't think it was a good time in his life to do surgery. And most of the time, he's good. Tweaks it every so often. Is there is anything that his body would need or want? Or anything we're doing or not doing, I guess.
Okay. Um, I'm seeing the word supplements. Is he taking supplements?
He's taking 2 right now.
Okay. Is one of them like a cortisol kind of something? Cortisol, corta something.
Um, he's taking, let's see, Ligaplex, which is like a it's an anti-inflammatory, and then the other one is like a bone and joint support.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Um, Something with cortisone or cortisol,
Okay.
um, maybe upping something in that area for his paw.
Okay.
Um, and then I'm seeing that he likes sweet potatoes.
Oh, I bet he does.
Don't
He eats
they all? I don't know.
he eats a raw meat diet.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, something about the orange energy going into his paw, that orange light, that orange vibration.
okay.
I'm seeing more movement in his paw.
Okay. Cute. Pause. You'll get some sweet potatoes then.
Okay. You can, yeah, you can be like me. Our dog is, yeah, I cook up or roast sweet potatoes probably every 3 days, and then I just keep them in the fridge, and then I just keep plopping them into her bowl.
Cute.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, good. Good luck with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Do you tap into like his demeanor, his energy, anything like that? Or is it like when you do, or is it specific questions you kind of
Sometimes things will come up. Um, um, I'm getting just in general that, let's see. Well, he's showing me that he's very loved,
oh, mhm,
and he loves he loves his walks.
cute. We go on a lot of walks.
Okay, and whether he pays attention to them or not, he has a connection with birds.
Oh,
Kind of like hears he can kind of hear the birds, like he's connecting into that bird realm, kind of like they speak the same language. I'm getting. I mean, his spirit is really high and pure, but his spirit connects with the bird realm.
that's cute. Yeah, he's a super gentle creature. Our previous Newfoundland that passed years ago, one time we saw him laying in the backyard and his head was just kind of going back and forth like he was watching something go left to right, left to right. So we went down there and there were baby bunnies just hopping back and forth between his paws.
Cute.
Most dogs would, most dogs are like hunting dogs would attack.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting for Fozzie. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Fozzie. That he can hear, and they're showing me white birds, and I don't know if that's more of just like like a high vibration
Mm.
color that I'm seeing, but like he can hear them, but he may look or not look or pay attention to them, but he can hear the birds.
That's
I'm seeing him just kind of like lying on the lawn, just kind of listening to the birds.
that's
Does that
cute.
make any sense?
Yeah, he loves laying out there, lying. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I wanted to come back to too, when you tapped into and said my gnome energy, for most people, they probably have no idea like what is gnome,
Yeah.
what is elf. So but you said grounded. Um, are there any other like attributes that stick out from like a gnome energy?
Well, what I see for gnome energy is that you're things that gnomes tend to love, and that's kind of like a cabin environment. Do you
Yeah.
connect with that?
Yes.
Okay, and then like a fireplace, being by the fire and cooking with the fire, putting cakes in the oven, having food come out of the oven. eating around eating around a table with family around, as opposed to just I see elf energy as let's hop here and there as we're eating and just snack all day long. But yeah, I think gnomes tend to like to be more communal when
Hmm.
eating. Uh, oh, having dogs around, that's a big one.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Gnomes love dogs.
Yes.
Having Yeah, and feeding their dogs um, table scraps. Some might be more prone to that. I don't know if you do that or not, but
We sneak them. Hmm.
love their dogs. Let's see. Oh, and gnomes would rather, if they're going to go somewhere, would rather be go by car than plane. Just gnomes really appreciate and love the beauty of the earth and enjoying getting to their destination by being able to see the beauty of the land.
Mm.
Whereas others might, you know, "Oh, I just want to get there. I don't want to be in the car." But I think gnomes tend to like going places like in campers and cars.
Mm. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, we have yet to do a long road trip with the kids, and I've been wanting to do that. I don't know, kids this day and age, their schedules are so crazy, so trying to align everything to just do
Yeah,
that. Yes, I love like road trips and just
yeah.
yeah, very cool.
Hmm.
So what is your predominant color? Is it purple because you're like a wizard?
I think I do have a lot of purple. I've been told by others that I have a lot of fairy energy, and I feel that in myself. And so sometimes when I'm getting ready in the morning, um, I'll see myself sideways in the mirror, and I will actually see my fairy wings. And so I've tried to ask myself, what color are my fairy wings? I kind of think that they're yellow and maybe some orange and purple. I don't really know, but um,
Wow. So when you
I
see your fairy wings, is it like how you see anything else, or is it like energetic, like in your mind's eye? Or I'm trying to imagine like being able to tap into that.
yeah, I had to be taught that it doesn't come out of my eyes when I say that I see something. It's kind of like it's kind of around my it's above my head, maybe over on the side. I'll get these images of things
Hmm.
and um but it won't be like in my brain. It'll
Mhm.
be it'll be outside of my head.
So fascinating.
Yeah.
Is there a certain spirit that or ethereal spirit that comes up that you think is the most common for people?
Oh, well, that's an interesting question because I just wrote an article that I just submitted to the Edge magazine. We'll see if they publish it or not. But it says, "Is your kid a dragon?" And I'm seeing a lot of kids when they sit down with me coming up as with dragon energy,
Oh.
and 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 then I'll also see kids with rainbow energy. I'll see them with mermaid energy, but I am sensing that there's lots of kids with dragon energy, and what that means to me is that they're grounded and they have this really high vibration of sparkles. A lot of time, like these bright green sparkles, I'll see, and they're here to raise the vibration of the earth with love.
Hmm.
Like they chose to come here to help raise the vibration. They're doing it out of their heart energy. I'll see like a big pink, huge pink heart with bright green sparkles on their green sparkly dragon tail. and uh, and they don't like to do things the way that mommy and daddy did things. They want to
Mm.
mix it up.
Is that causing conflict with kids and parents, or is that,
Some,
yeah, okay.
but um, the ones that I'm seeing that their parents say, "Hey, yeah, go ahead and have a reading with Kerry." I mean, those aren't the parents that they're having a conflict with.
Right,
'Cause
right.
those parents are
Oh,
already open-minded.
yeah.
They're already allowing their kids to say or do things, kind of outside of the box.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, um, yeah.
So a lot of people with whom I've connected have turned on their um, ability to read energies through Reiki. However, they are also people who, as soon as they had their first Reiki session, like the Reiki healer was like, "Oh yeah, you're intuitive, or you're a psychic, or you're whatever." And so it just so happens that I heard those stories from them. Um, it that seems to be kind of like I don't think gateway is necessarily the right word, but um,
Hmm.
it opens the door for people to,
Yeah.
yeah. Is that your
Yeah.
understanding?
I've heard a lot of people have had doors opening through Reiki.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah. It's like the healer is a channel of high vibration healing. It brings that vibration through and then is able to um, unblock energy that's in the patient or in the client and bring through messages of higher vibrations.
mm,
So I do think that Reiki is just one way to get people to expand their um, possibilities of healing and awareness.
hmm hmm And are most Reiki healers, do they have a natural gift or not necessarily?
I would say most do.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would say a lot of people have a natural gift, and you can just even learn how to do Reiki on yourself, and you can learn how to do Reiki on your kids and on your animals and on your home and on your plants, and it doesn't have to be a big process to learn how to do Reiki. I know that there's different methods. Mine was just 3 quick sessions. All of a sudden, like, okay, I feel confident I can do that now, and it was just a huge door opening. Whereas others will do a very methodical um, uh, way of learning how to do Reiki, the traditional way.
hmm
So there's all different styles.
Yeah, I suppose it depends on what type of learner you are too. Like I'm
Yeah.
a very circular learner, and so anything methodical is not really for me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine was just kind of like, okay, you're Reiki certified now. Go do it.
Yeah, so talk about how you serve people in the various ways you do that.
Well, I see people at a place in Hudson, Wisconsin called Droplets of Wellness, and I'm there on the weekends. And I'm also available for online appointments um, through my website. And um, so those are the two biggest ones. I have a um, YouTube channel where sometimes I'll post Carrie Cooks with Colors um, recipes, and while I'm cooking, I'll just talk about the colors of the food that I'm putting in and kind of what it can help do. And I have a blog that I'll post little things about, like, for example, is your kid a dragon? Well, these are these are things that you can look for if you want to know if your kid is a dragon or a fairy or a mermaid or something like that. You can schedule a session, or I'll post um, other aura healing messages that come through on my blog. So kind of a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah, very cool. I was going to ask you too, when there's so much going on in the world right now, and for sure, like it seems to be the craziest time to be alive since I've, in my
Mhm.
43 years. Um, do you, is it like with people where you can pick up on colors of just different things that are going on, or is that not really how it works?
I can if I want to look into an event or a situation, I can ask, okay, what is the energy or what is the color of that
Mm,
situation?
hmm
Is
hmm
that what you kind of meant?
Yeah. And does it help you make sense of things that are going on?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like with the fires, I see a lot of red energy going on in LA.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would assume that that would be red energy. Does it give you any like insight or thought as to uh any of the theories surrounding it, any of the ways out of it, or um is it just kind of like the overall mood?
Well, I'll see anger attached to it, but I also see that it was something that was inevitable. Not necessarily the fires, but I did see like things are going to happen this year, this summer, like events with whether they're political or with education or um, business, that things are really coming to a head. Um,
Mm.
July specifically. It's not my favorite kind of thing to
Right.
look into, but it's kind of an awareness as well. And I do listen to other energy healers, and I think it's just kind of like a way to refresh and to start over, that things need to break down before they can
Right.
rebuild. So
Right.
there's another breaking down and rebuilding this year in 2025. That's a year of the nines, which is breaking down and rebuilding, renewing.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I had a conversation with another intuitive said basically the same thing. This is 2025 is going to be a lot of uprooting
Mhm,
of systems and practices and but it's paving way for new.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, aren't we done yet?
I know, I know.
Yet.
I just hope we all like lean on each other
Mhm,
instead of all of this tension. So
mhm, mhm.
I think we'll start to
Yeah,
get more of that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So if we just if we see nines, if you see nines when you're out and about, it's kind of like, well, it's all meant to be. Whatever's going on with all these nines
Mm,
this year.
okay. Um, and this is a year of the nine because
Well, 2025, and um yeah, it's just kind of like it's in the cards.
okay, okay.
Yeah, two plus, well, when you add the numbers together,
Yes, that I
zero
was just
two
kind of
five
getting that in my in
isn't
my
it?
head. You said,
Yeah,
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 got it. Okay. So people can book a session with you and you can do it virtually. So uh
yes.
and you have
Yeah.
like half hour block. How long of sessions?
Half hour and hour blocks to book online, or
Okay.
if you walk into Hudson, I do 10 and 15 and half-hour sessions.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and I hope people pick up a copy of your book. It's just as gorgeous as it is like informative, entertaining. I mean, getting to know my ethereal spirit, which I don't think I would have ever known um, had we not connected. And like this picture right here, your recipe for sweet potato bird nest balls is one of my favorites.
Oh,
Um,
there you go. You've got your
this
sweet
one,
potatoes.
yeah, this one speaks to my spirit with all the root vegetables and it's colorful. Um, yeah, so good. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you so much for coming on. So good to see you.
Yeah. Good to see you as well. Thank you for having me on.
You bet.